So Lisa and I live near the Twin Cities of Minneapolis, St. Paul. And we live out on a little hobby farm about 30 or 40 minutes out. But my parents still live on the farm. He bought his first 80 acres with the money he came back from the Korean War with, and little by little built up this farm into an amazingly beautiful place. I have to tell the kids this wasn't always grandchildren resort. We used to work here. I don't know what happened. It was like this for you. You remember this? Now he's got these expensive ponies for the kids. And we had one to kick us, drag us. He didn't care one bit. One thing that happens in Verndale, Minnesota, and it wasn't like this when I grew up, but they started having this rodeo. And even though only 500 people live in Verndale, Minnesota, at the Sunbee Arena on the big highway, Minneapolis to Fargo, halfway, there's some place called Sunbee Arena or Sunbee Coliseum. And they started to have rodeos. Rodeos aren't the biggest thing in Minnesota until then. Of course, they had to get the pros in from Texas and Canada and Oklahoma, people that knew what they were doing. Dad kept saying, when are you going to bring the grandkids up to the rodeo? It's 3 hours away from the cities. We took the kids out of school a little bit earlier. They looked about like that stack I showed, about that age. I said, we'll be there, Dad. And we took them out of the city stuff. We were ready for Grandpa. We had buckles, boots, we had cowboy, we had bandanas. We were ready for Grandpa. We get there, get a great spot on the bleachers. If you haven't been to a rodeo for a while, first half of the rodeo, the cowboys and cowgirls rope things. Second half of the rodeo, they get bucked off of things. But in the middle, they let locals get involved. And they call it mutton busting. This is where they let 5 to 8-year-old local kids see how long they can last riding a big Suffolk sheep. I don't know why. What happens? It's almost halftime. The big Texas announcer down by the American flag. And ladies and gentlemen, it's almost time for mutton busting. Those of you kids, families, put your names in the hat. I'm going to read off the first 8 names. First 8 names, come on down here to the bull gate and we'll get started. Billy, Susie, Vanessa Horsager, Isaiah Horsager. I look over at my dad, the stoic Norwegian. He just smiles. I look at my citified 5 and 8-year-old, and they are looking up at me with eyes of terror. I put my arms around Vanessa and Isaiah. I said, this is going to be fun. We walk over to the bull gate. There's a lady that tells us how this works. Here's what happens, kids. You jump on the sheep. Just hold on. Don't worry. You'll fall off, but the whole arena is sand. It's like a big, giant sandbox. This is fun. My kids aren't buying it. What happened to every kid every night? They don't know how to do it in Minnesota yet when we did this. They don't know how to do it, so they sit up straight. They hold onto the wool like this, and the sheep skedaddles and the kid falls off. They all last 3 feet or less. Of course, I've seen this. Vanessa's one of the last to go. She's the latest kid in her class. I said, Vanessa, you can't do it like that. You got to take those dangly 8-year-old legs, you got to wrap them around the belly, you got to pinch your heels as tight as you can. Vanessa, you can't sit up like this, you gotta lay down. You gotta velcro your belly to the wool, you gotta wrap your arms around it, you gotta dig your fingers into the wool. And whatever you do, don't let go. I'm a great dad. They open the bull gate. The sheep tears off. She's like, people, look at the little kid. Look at what? Look at that sheep is skedaddling across the arena to the far corner of the arena, and she's holding on the whole way. Why across the arena? Because the other sheep all gather in the far corner of the arena. That's what sheep do. They gather, don't they? And they laugh. But one is broadways. What does this sheep do? Straight, bam! Butts it right in the side. Vanessa, but she holds on. What does the sheep do? It takes off around the arena. Second time around the arena, she's a little bit sideways now. 2,000 people stand up. They start screaming and cheering for this little girl. The stoic Norwegian has a tear. Third time around the arena. The clowns come out. Little girl, you can let go now. She will not let go. They finally get her stopped in the far corner of the arena, and she won't get off. Big Texas. 2,000 people screaming and cheering. She won't get off. Is there a dad here? I'll never forget this. I walk out in the arena that night. Walk over to my daughter, pick her off the sheep. She grabs onto my neck. And as we walk toward the middle, and this rodeo queen comes out with a trophy for the kid that lasted the longest, I'll never forget what she said in my ear. Daddy, why did clowns say let go? You said never let go. She was committed. And she trusted herself a little bit. If you like that, subscribe to our YouTube channel or go to trustedge.com for more free resources and tools.